So what did you think when you first read this?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really fresh, new, fun way of telling a story as old as time, you know? And I think that's important. I think, you know, important stories need to be carried on. You know, back in the day, it was all just oral tradition, and, you know, then we started figuring out, oh, we can write things down. Papyrus. And now we have movies to keep these stories going. And I think, you know, particularly from the perspective of children being able to understand, digest, metabolize this very important story, I think telling it from the perspective of the animals really gets them going. You know, kids love talking animals. Don't we all love talking animals? So when I read it, I was like, that's smart. That's a really smart, fun way of being able to tell this story. And I think it'll do well. And I think I was, you know, really honored that they wanted me to play Joseph, who, as somebody of faith, who has not shied away from being honest about that I am a person of faith. You live your faith. So I don't know if that had anything to do with Sony's reaching out to me specifically to play the role, but I definitely felt, it felt a little apropos to me, I suppose, because it's something that I believe in or relate to and have grown up in and wanted to do it justice.
The human characters in the nativity story, there's a risk that they become just figures, you know, in a crush scene, that they become very stiff. And what I liked about this is it makes them very human.
Superhuman.
Seem like real people.
Not superhuman, but very
superly
human. Yes, absolutely, yeah. And yeah, oh my gosh, like Joseph, you know, he's arguing with Bo the whole movie. He's a cantankerous guy. He's not happy. And then he's dealing with all this other crazy stuff. I know.
An impossible situation.
Crazy, totally impossible. And that's one of the things I loved about it, is like there's so much humor involved. But then I also got to really, you know, break down and show the vulnerability of this guy. And, you know, that's in this impossible situation. And then the redemptive quality, you know, at the end as it all wraps up. And all bundled in this talking animal fun, you know? That's a pretty cool deal.
What did you think of the portrayal of Mary?
Gina has, you know, her essence is unmistakable and real and grounded and down to earth, and, you know, that's what she's gonna bring to the character. You can't not get that from Gina, and particularly the way that she was directed and then as it was written.
Were you at all intimidated on taking on perhaps one of the most famous women in history?
As a faith-based woman myself, I feel like everything has kind of been put in place for me. I grew up with the nativity story, so I feel very close to the story itself. You know, I do think that Mary is a reflection of every woman that I have around me, that I just have powerful superwomen that I have seen service themselves to others, that have been selfless, that have been pillars of strength and hope, and I modeled Mary off of those women.